This News Update is brought to you by
Good morning. This is a 7 a.m. Barbados Today update for Wednesday, July 2nd, 2014. I'm Carol Williams. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news of pending job cuts at another government agency. Barbados Today understands that the Port Authority wants to send home 110 of its 392 workers. In a letter to the Barbados Workers Union, Chief Executive Officer of the port, David Jean-Marie, says the authority is struggling with declining revenues, excessive payroll costs, and high debt service, among other things. Jean-Marie says the port must now set out a viable path to ensure its survival. At a press conference on Monday, BWU General Secretary Sir Roy Trotman confirmed that layoffs are on the table and the union is ready to talk. As Barbados battles its economic difficulties, the outgoing CARICOM chairman is telling this country and others in the region not to hide their challenges, but to come clean so solutions can be found. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez says the way out will not be quick or easy, but it will need more than a national response. Incoming CARICOM chairman Antigua's Prime Minister Gaston Brown also had a message for regional governments about how they should see economic improvement. He says it requires collaboration of the willing. Dawn Paris is in St. John's for the summit, and she tells us more.
With the economic troubles and potential solutions high on the agenda of CARICOM leaders, Gonzalez says it makes no sense downplaying what people on the ground already know.
That there is genuine material hardship among huge sections of the region's population. We have to admit this. We can't hold this meeting as though we don't have a lot of people in the Caribbean suffering.
Once that admission is made, Gonzalez says urgent corrective action is needed nationally and regionally.
National solutions are at best partial, and a concerted regional approach is required to improve our economies, create wealth and jobs, and manage much better our fiscal and debt condition, and strengthen the social safety net. There is no magic wand. Hard, smart, and productive work has to be the preferred option over profligacy, leisure, pleasure, and nice time.
His successor as CARICOM chairman Gaston Brown agrees with the need for integration, but Brown, the new kid on the block, having led his Antigua Labour Party to general election victory just 2 weeks ago, says the countries who want to go forward shouldn't have to wait on those who aren't ready.
Perhaps the time has come for integration by a coalition of the willing. And a coalition of the willing in various sectors of the economy, instead of allowing those who are reluctant to stymie our efforts to advance. Thus, for example, there could be collaboration between willing governments and the private sector in the ownership of productive operations in each other's countries. For example, one or two governments might invest in a project in a country with a natural resource that could be developed into a viable economic project that would create an income stream, not only for the government in which the resource resides, but also the governments that invest in the enterprise.
Over the next 3 days, heads of government will discuss a report on the CARICOM Commission of the Economy, the consideration and approval of the strategic plan for CARICOM, the first ever, and advancing the fight for reparations, among other issues. Dawn Paris in St. John's, Antigua, reporting for Barbados Today.
Thank you, Don. In other news now, a resident of the Ivy is now behind bars for allegedly committing several crimes in his own community. 23-year-old Jamar Omar Ashby of Roger Road is charged with 2 counts of the use of a firearm, endangering life, and 2 counts of wounding with intent. Ashby was arrested at the height of ongoing police investigations into recent shooting incidents in the Ivy and Titchbourne. He appeared at the District A Magistrate Court on Monday and was not required to plead to the charges. Convicted murderer Arlie Hector James has lost his bid to secure an early release from prison. In fact, he'll have to wait at least another year. So orders Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson. James, who has served 19 years for the 1994 murder of his wife Deborah James and stepdaughter Sabrina Arlington, appealed to court to overturn his sentence, which he deemed as unconstitutional. But the Chief Justice ruled the court was still uncomfortable with the idea that 19 years was enough retributive justice for such a crime.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
To news from the region, enough is enough. The Guyana government issues a directive to lawmen to stamp out domestic violence. This as official statistics show an increase in the worrying trend, with over 4,200 cases recorded in the last 5 years alone. Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi says the numbers demand that greater attention and stronger measures be implemented to arrest the problem. On the international scene, the leader of the jihadist militant group ISIS releases a troubling message urging Muslims around the world to travel to Iraq and Syria to build an Islamic state. Last month, ISIS took control of Iraq and Syria, killing close to 2,500 Iraqis. In a recording posted online, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi urged Muslims everywhere to rise up against oppression. He made a special call for judges, doctors, engineers, and people with military and administrative expertise to join the fight. He also called on jihadist fighters to escalate fighting during the month of Ramadan, which began on Sunday. And on that note, we come to the end of our 7 a.m. Barbados Today update, but you can join us again at noon for another news update. Until then, you can log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, or you can like us on Facebook to get more news and sports. I'm Carol Williams. Have a great day.
This update is brought to you by